Hi, guys, and welcome back to
Built-In Besties, a dad
and Daughter podcast.
episode 11. We did a live
Yes.
ep last time.
Mhm.
That was really fun.
It was really fun.
I thought it was going to be really challenging or kind of disorienting or like we were not in our zone.
Yeah.
I think we vibed pretty well. I really had a good time with it.
It was really fun, yeah.
We'll do another one sometime, I'm sure. It was a good give us the ability to still do the podcast and keep it on track. So that was fun. Thanks everybody for watching. If you're watching right now, please subscribe. We get a lot of you that view it,
but you don't
like it.
Subscribe.
Push that little button. You're probably logged into Google anyway. Push the
Takes
little
5
thumbs
seconds.
up button. Push the little subscribe button. Show us that you want us to keep doing more of these so that we know that at least 3 people are watching.
People like it.
I'm almost over this sickness. Just coughing a little bit still. It's a little annoying. Hopefully I won't cough on the podcast.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Me, I just my throat at this time of day, which is probably 5 p.m. or 3-ish.
Yep.
It just gets a little sore from being in so many different kind of climates, because I'm at school, I'm at home, I'm outside. It kind of just messes with my throat.
I wonder if that is more of allergies. We thought that you had allergies at first when you got sick. I wonder if that's
more of
actually what's happening.
Now.
Yeah, we could try to take some allergy meds and see if that helps you every day. That might be a good option to try to pick that. Mm-hmm. How was your week?
My week was pretty good. I didn't really have anything eventful, really.
You got to hang a little bit with your grandmother on Wednesday.
Yes.
So your mom and I both had separate work trips that overlapped.
I was an orphan.
On Wednesday. You were not an orphan. You were not an orphan. You have plenty of family who loves you and cares for you. And you got some time with your grandmother and Jackson.
Yes.
He's a cute boy that Grammy watches.
He's my boyfriend, actually.
Okay. I don't think so, but whatever. Excuse me.
He walks up to his mom, and his mom was like, "Who are you with?" And he's like, "This is Jackie, my girlfriend."
He said that? I didn't know about that. Mm-hmm. I talked to him a little bit today on my car ride home because I had talked to Grammy, and he was in the car. So I heard that you guys talked about maybe visiting my work.
Yes.
Going up to the tower because he's obsessed with the tower.
I told him, I said, "You're going to have to go in an elevator." And he says, "I know, go in elevator."
Yeah, he said the same thing when I was on the phone today. Doesn't want to do it. No elevators for him. So
you really about to do it?
We'll try to work on it. Someone's going to get that reference, I'm sure. I traveled for the last few days. I just got home a couple hours ago, pretty much, when I picked you up from school. I was in New Hampshire doing some training, which was interesting. It was a little challenging, actually, because that's the training that I used to travel to go do myself and facilitate. So I had to really take a back seat.
Dial it down.
Yeah, I did have to dial it down a lot, which was a little difficult because I'm super passionate about that program, and I wish that I was still doing it, and hopefully I'll be able to once the other supervisor returns at work, because I do really enjoy doing it. I know you don't like when I'm gone for those few weeks that I have to do that, but it is something that I do really enjoy doing.
Bump in my ear.
How was your school week? How'd you manage all of that this week?
It was fine.
That's all you're gonna give me?
Yeah.
It was fine.
Bailey Grace came over on.
Oh, she
and her
did.
Family came over on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was really fun. We had chicken curry, which I don't like chicken curry.
You had rice.
I had rice.
Yeah. That was fun. Remy was a little
I'll insert
challenging.
One of the photos here that I took.
Remy was a little challenging because he's a little standoffish and a little intimidated, especially by men. I think I'm the only male who has really been able to pet the dog.
Yeah.
But I don't know what kind of trauma he carries.
It was really nice because I kind of got to in a sense be more comfortable with her, because I kind of learned that I'm not going to break her.
Yeah.
And that it's okay to move her around. And so I was able to kind of move her around, and I got to feed her. And once like I was kind of like done like holding her like this because it started to hurt me, we got like the boppy.
Yeah.
And she just laid on me for like an hour.
And she
And
passed
she
out.
passed out.
Yeah, it was so cute. She's the cutest baby
She's
ever.
so cute.
Yeah. That was really fun. I love that we got to experience that
Yeah.
and that they actually came over. That was really cool. That was a special night, I think, for you, for me also.
Definitely.
Good. We are leaving in a few days. The same day that this episode drops for Florida. What are you most looking forward to?
Obviously like Allstar Worlds, but also like just kind of like my uncle's now coming, which I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like show him Florida because he hasn't like really been there a lot in his life that he can like remember, I guess.
Yeah. Let's recap why you're going in the first place, just in case someone just happens to be tuning in. What is Allstar Worlds? What does that mean?
Allstar Worlds is kind of a really big end of the season competition, and you kind of work for it all year, and you have to get a bid to get into it. And it's kind of just like a big championship, and you have to make it to day 2. And if you don't, then you're just kind of screwed.
It's in Orlando, in a big convention center. They put on a really cool show. We'll do a lot of recap next week, I think, on this, where we can maybe even like toss in a portion of your cheer routine. I think that would be really cool to see if you'll allow it. I know you've been weird about telling people where you cheer. It's pretty public where someone could figure it out. So I think that we can maybe toss in some stuff next week if we decide that that's the right thing to do. Cheer, you said, is going to be Tuesday. Yes. So that's your first day on Tuesday. Last time,
hopefully Wednesday.
Yeah, last time there were like 118. I think
so. Yeah,
around 118 teams that competed in your division, and you guys made it to the next round. So you have to be in the top 50 to make it to the next round.
We got third out of the 20 in our division.
Yep, which was awesome. And then you guys moved on to the next day. Out of the top 50, it was so cool that day at the end because they'll start to just rattle off names, right? So they'll go from 50th position to first position.
Yes.
And they just go off. And I'm counting in my head every time. I'm counting on my fingers, on my toes, everything to see like what position you guys are in because they don't exactly announce the positions. They don't say in 50th place, in 49th place. They just list the teams.
Them,
So I'm counting this off, and every once in a while, like when they get to like, 40, 30, 20, that's when they'll start to say 40, 30, 20. And then you guys made it all the way to 16th place.
Out of 118 teams.
Which was so cool.
So we beat 112. Yeah, 12.
Yeah. Why do we try to do math on this?
I had it in my head. I was just like mathing it up.
Yeah, no, you did really well with it.
I'm getting a spray tan tomorrow.
You are getting a spray tan tomorrow.
It's not a toxic spray tan. It's like very much.
Yeah, it's a very gentle one. Yeah. Aloe based. Supposed to be decent for your skin. Hopefully you like it and everything turns out well. It's so tedious. You can tell. No, you can tell when you go to Florida.
I'm like this right now.
You can tell when you go to Florida who is from the South and who is not because the Northeast teams
can't just be like all pasty.
The Northeast teams get under the light and it's just like bright white, which is it's crazy. So
that's why you have to do so much bronzer for cheer, which I don't really want to have to do all of that. So just do a spray tan.
Yeah, hopefully that works out. That'll be.
I want to do like a medium brown, like not like dark, but not like. Just like it looks like I literally sat in the sun.
Yeah, we'll talk to the guy tomorrow and figure out what the best course of action is. He was super nice when I called earlier in the week. So that's all set up for you tomorrow. That'll be fun. Are you nervous about it at all?
A little bit because it's in like automated, like kind of like machine that tells you what to do. Like lift your arm up, like put it behind your head or like. And so it's kind of like nerve-wracking to make sure that you actually do it right and you're not like all like patchy and everything.
Yep. That's true. Okay. We're gonna go to Disney, right?
Yes.
You have some plans. I'm gonna break your heart. I'm so
We're
sorry. I know
not
that
doing
you're gonna
all
get
four
so mad at
parks in
me.
one.
It's just gonna be too much. And with it being spring break week, so most of Connecticut is on spring break
Mhm.
next week, starting right now,
I
pretty
know like
much.
17 people that are going to Florida.
Yeah. So it's going to be incredibly busy at Disney.
Mhm.
It would be so much. I would love to be able to go to every single park,
Yeah.
but we have a couple of things that are not working for us in an area. First off, we have a 6 a.m. flight the day after,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be really challenging if we're up super late. And we also like to do all of that stuff. I don't think that we would be able to get
Like get
on
enough
any
time.
rides
Yeah.
at all. It takes some time to get
We
out of the
would with
park, into the
planning.
park. If we had planning and just maybe less of a crowd, I think that we would be able to do some of those things. But Disney has gotten like awful with charging for every single little fast pass thing, the genie
Yeah.
thing. I don't even know what they call it anymore because it's been so wild.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that we have a good experience. Do you know if your uncle's going to come to Disney also?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
He was looking at it like through his work.
Oh,
I think.
that's fun. Like maybe gets a little discount or
Yeah.
something. That'd be
Do
cool.
we want to do candle of the week?
Yeah, we can do candle of the week right now.
Okay. The candle of the week is one you can't really see the flame because we burn it so often.
Yeah, it's kind of buried in there. Would you
Yeah.
like to read what it is?
Mm-hmm. This is pineapple coconut. I think it's from Walmart.
It's really nice.
I had to like find where the camera
We've
was.
done it a lot. It
It
smells
smells
good. It's
really
very
good.
tropical.
We usually burn it with like a blueberry one. Like we'll do like a side by side burn, and it looks really
Yeah, and it gets a little like mixed scent.
good. Mm-hmm.
That's fun. Okay. I came into this week with a few questions for you.
Okay.
You had a couple of weeks of really good questions. So I wrote down some questions today
Okay.
to ask you. Okay. You had 1 year, okay? No school, no nothing. I'm going to set that stage right now. No school, none of that. You have 1 year
Sounds amazing.
to spend $1 million. How do you spend it throughout the year?
I have to do some math on this real fast.
Okay, that's fine. I'll break down some other things too. So 365 days. I'm not going to do the math on how much that would be per day if you just had $1 million to spend every for the entire week or entire year is what I meant to say. You could be thinking about travel. You could be thinking about just you can't. I'm going to say that you can't buy anything that is like permanent, I guess. So you can't buy a house. You can't buy a car.
Okay.
All right. What do you got?
I would donate like $83,000 every.
You would donate every dollar of your $1 million? You wouldn't spend a single dollar.
Maybe like 82, and I would get like a little bit for myself, but
Okay.
I would donate it.
You would donate all of your money. Would you do it to one single charity or would you do it to multiple
Um,
charities?
St. Jude or maybe like anything that like works with kids.
Okay.
So maybe like
There's a lot of
foster
them.
homes and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
sure. Would you do like local charities also or would you
Kind of
only
just
consider the big ones?
local. Yeah.
Okay. You wouldn't want any money for yourself. You wouldn't want to take a trip somewhere. You wouldn't want to just like do something extravagant, a boat trip. You talk about boats all the time since we did a Croatia boat
If I
ride.
wanted to do something extravagant, then I could like work towards that and not just get it handed to me.
Interesting. I'm really proud of your answer.
Thank you.
Like uh, I think that's really impressive of you to say that you would do that. That speaks volumes, I think, of your character and who you are. And that's really cool. Um, All right. I have more questions.
Okay.
What do you think makes your generation unique?
We don't like texting.
What do you mean?
It's just Snapchat.
Really?
I hate Snapchat.
You hate
I
Snapchat?
hate Snapchat.
Do you like texting?
I like the filters, like for like taking
Fun
photos,
things. Yeah.
but I don't like the constant having to respond to things and kind of being like put in a position where you have to keep streaks alive. That's like people are always like, you never snap. It's because I'll snap once a day to continue my streaks and then I don't again.
Okay. You think that your generation doesn't like texting?
No.
That's really interesting
Like
that you
some
say
people I
that.
don't even have their number because all I have is their snap.
Really? That's how a lot of people just like keep in contact?
Hmm.
Isn't it in Snapchat though where you can't even like see old messages and stuff though?
If you have to save them in a chat.
Really? That's wow. I did not expect that to be an answer. And I didn't expect that this generation, or your generation, I'm sorry, doesn't really like texting. I thought that would just be
We
a
like
given.
texting, but like we don't prefer it. I would say.
Wild.
People would probably say differently,
Would
but
you prefer to call someone to
no.
text them?
No. I'm
No?
not a calling person.
You're not, what about FaceTime? Would you rather FaceTime someone than text them?
Depends on the day.
Okay.
Depends on I have to be in the mood. Like texting I don't have to be in the mood. I can sound peppy if I want to sound peppy. But
Okay.
like I have to be in the mood to FaceTime.
For you
I really like
to,
corn.
for me,
I really
I
like
really like
corn.
corn.
What do you like about
That's
corn?
a good callback. I haven't thought about that one in a long time. Okay. That's That's pretty wild. I didn't think about that at all. You guys don't text. I love to text. If that's the only option I had just to text most of the time, that's probably
You could send videos
what
to
I
each
would want
other.
to do.
I mean,
You send
the
videos
only
to
thing
each
I
other?
really love about Snapchat is that I send vlogs to people. Like one
Interesting.
of my friends, her name's Katie. We will just send videos, kind of like vlogging to each other back and
Yep.
forth.
Okay.
And it's so fun.
All right.
And my mom, if I take a video of her, she'll be like, "Are you sending that to Katie?" And I'll be like, "I can't just send a video. I can't just take a video of you."
That's pretty funny.
Mhm.
Okay. I have one last question. These are going a little quicker than I thought they would, but that's okay. What is something that you wish adults understood about kids today? You just talked about your generation and things that like that. Is there something that you wish adults
How
understood?
much of a jail school really is? Because I feel like when our parents, like of this generation, were like younger, I feel like school was a little more laid back and it kind of wasn't as strict as it is now, which you could say differently, but I think it's kind of more like it's different now than it was before and there's higher standards set and it's kind of just like how like how much you're told that you can't do things in a school, like you're not allowed to leave the class without signing out on a piece of paper and taking a lanyard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're told that you're not allowed to leave a building. You're told that you have to do things at certain times. You have to do this work or something bad will happen. Like you can't just like breathe, kind of. Like you have to just have this reoccurring kind of like weight on your shoulders that you have to get good grades. You have to do all this good. Like you have to do all this work that you're not like my biggest thing is that teachers will start the lesson with, so this is not really like in our unit and you're never going to use this, but I'm just going to teach it to you anyways and like give you a bunch of papers on it. Like how does that really like align? Like if you want to teach us stuff, then teach us stuff you know we're going to use.
Okay. Do you think that?
And like, sorry.
Go ahead.
If
Keep
you
going.
look up videos of schools compared to a jail, you can see a remarkable resemblance.
You've looked this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get to leave school every day. You get to have some
But I still
freedoms.
come home and have hours worth of homework.
Okay. And that's based on a teacher. That's not necessarily the school itself doing that to you.
It is though, like it's like when you clock off of work, you are done for the day.
It
And
depends. It really depends. Go ahead.
when you clock off of work, you're done. You clock out, you're not on the clock anymore. And if you are expected to do work off of your paid time, then it's called like toxic, like it's horrible, like these people are so mean to you, like you need to leave that place. But when we're done with school, these when children are done with school and we say we're done for the day, like it's say it's 2:10, the bell rings, we're done. And we have to come home and do a bunch of homework. It's not toxic because it's just kids going to school.
Okay. You're very passionate about this. And I do like
I
your
don't
passion.
like going to a place that I hate every day.
You really hate it.
I do.
I'm sorry. Sorry that you're having that experience. We ran into a teacher of yours in Big Y when we were shopping. And what did she tell you about middle school?
That you're supposed to hate it. When I don't really think that's like
I don't even think that you said that you hated it. I think she just said you're supposed to hate middle school. It's a really tough time. You're finding your people, you're finding like how hard the workload of school can be. There's a lot of dynamics involved in this, which make it a really tough time period. So I think, I mean, you could argue that it could be the toughest time period, right? Everyone is changing. People are finding out who they are. You're coming of age, right? And this is
mm-hmm.
just like it is a difficult time. I want to go back to some things that you said. Do you think that every generation thinks that they've had it harder than the previous generation?
Yes, because that's how they were raised.
Do you think so? You're going to have children someday, right? And do you think that you're going to have these same exact conversations with your children where they're going to tell you, you don't understand? This is not like when you went to school. I'm trapped here. This is hard. I get all this
Well,
homework.
when my children are going to school, there's probably going to be flying cars, and then they could like take like a jet out of the school,
We've
and
thought,
there'll probably be no schools at all, and you'll just be expected online school your kid.
I don't think so. I think there's been talks of flying cars for hundreds of years now, and it doesn't come about.
Our world will probably be run by robots at that point.
You think so? You think AI is going to take over?
Not AI. I think we're just going to be surrounded by robots.
I think that's kind of the AI point, like robot AI.
We're going to be surrounded by garbage truck looking cars and cars that kind of look like Stitch.
Yep.
Sorry, but
Right.
a Tesla looks like Stitch.
We don't talk about Tesla in this household. Sorry. Okay. I think that I think you have some valid points. I'm never gonna discount what you're saying because I value your thoughts and what you're feeling is valid. I think that everyone kind of learns how to work through that. That is part of life that you're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. We've said it a million times on the pod before. I've said the same thing that you're going to have people that you don't want to be around. You're going to have things that you have to do that you don't want to do.
That's why you
It's
take
part of
yourself out
being
of
an
a room.
adult.
There's people you don't want to be around. That's
Sometimes
why
you
you ask to go
can't.
to the bathroom.
Sometimes you can't, though. Sometimes you work with people that are incredibly challenging. Sometimes that inspires you to make a change, right?
Beat
But
someone up.
hopefully you don't beat someone up because that's usually doesn't have a good outcome. And I don't think you're a violent person. I think you're just kidding with me. But I'm sure sometimes you feel that way, like so angry that you just want to like lose it. But that's normal also. All right. So you think that adults just need to understand the challenges that children face
Yes.
with
I think
the
that
expectation of school?
if I took you through my school day, like if I literally like took you, like if I recorded myself the whole day, which I can't because I don't have my phone. But if I recorded myself the whole day and I showed you truly how hard my day is, you would believe me.
I do believe you. I'm not saying that I don't believe you at all. I 100% believe how you feel and what you're saying.
It's just that like teachers don't really care. And I'm not saying that my teachers don't care, which some of them don't. I'm saying that like they don't really care. Like they just think that we're robots and we're not. Like we're not, you can't set us to do something. You can't just expect that we're going to remember everything that you're telling us. Like it's not like you expect us to be this like smart these like smart people, but you're not like teachers today, which I'm not saying all teachers, but they don't really teach. They'll hand you a paper, they'll go over notes, but that's not teaching a lesson. That's just like doing work on the board. That's not actually like teaching and showing you like how to actually do it. That's just like if you were to watch a YouTube video.
Okay, if you were in charge of the school then, what would you change?
I would
What
make
hold
it
on, I want to set this a little more concrete actually. So, what would you change, but how would you also ensure a high level of learning and a high standard of expectations to make you ready for high school and the rest of the world and for college and all of that? How would you
I
make that happen? What are
I
your
would get
ideas?
rid of the Chromebooks
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't think they're benefiting us.
Okay. How
Our
often
teachers put things on Classroom and they're like, "Well, you should have read that." Or you should have like it's if I was absent then you should have read that. You like you're expected to look on if I'm absent or you're expected to always check your email or always check your Google Classroom or always check these things. But like we're not like that's not installed in our brain to always do that.
Okay.
And I think that teachers are always like, "Oh, you guys spend so much time on your screens. You're expecting us to spend 6 hours on a screen every day."
Every class that you go into, do you have to bring your Chromebook with you?
Yes, I have to bring all of myself.
Okay. How often in those classes are you opening up the Chromebook and using the Chromebook?
Almost the whole time.
So every desk.
I think except like 2 classes I'm using my Chromebook.
Okay. Get rid of the Chromebook. I like your
Like
idea.
just be old fashioned and write on paper. Like
Interesting.
I don't like I understand you're killing trees, but also you're like killing things in our eyes or in our brains when we're looking at a screen all day. And you're like blaming us. You're saying, "Oh, you spend so much time on these screens and you're always on a screen." That's because that's what we're being told to do.
You think that's a little double standard that
Yes,
they're putting out there?
I think they're being very hypocritical because
Okay.
we're being told to be on these screens. We're not just going and playing on a Chromebook all day. We're doing work. And we're also like it's just not something that we want to do. Like we don't want to sit on a Chromebook all day. Like that hurts my head. Like because I'm just always staring at a screen.
Hmm.
Like it's on paper things, but it's probably like, "Oh, the article is on Google Classroom, read that and do it on the paper." But that's defeating the purpose. And especially like another point is about school is that we get a 30-minute lunch. 30 minutes.
Yep.
That's our break with the day.
Yep.
Nothing else. That's just it. People in France get like 2-hour breaks because they're there for a little longer.
Hmm.
But we get this
What
30-minute break.
What do you mean by they're there for a little longer? Are that their
Uh,
class days are longer?
well, they start earlier. Well, they start later and they get out a little later, at like 5. So they
Okay.
start like 9, get out at 5.
Okay.
And they get like a 2-hour lunch break, kind of like a recess thing. I had
Okay.
to read on a Chromebook about this. Um, and
Is this all of France or is this specific
all of
to? Okay.
France. We get a 30-minute break, not a break. We get a 30-minute lunch
Yep.
that people can go eat their mystery meat, eat their mystery vegetable, eat their mystery vegetables, eat the really bad food that school provides for the $10 that they're ripping you off. But you get this 30-minute break, and you're not allowed to stand up. You can go throw your trash away. You can maybe ask to go to the bathroom, but you're not allowed to stand up. You're not allowed to move around. Like, you can't even have more than 8 chairs at a table. It's
Whoa.
just,
Okay. So you get this in theory break, but you have to be seated at your
we have
lunch
people
table.
watching us.
Okay. Okay.
There's a police guard and a security guard standing at the door
At to
that you
lunch.
have to ask them to go to the bathroom. First of all, you have to ask one teacher, and then they're going to say, "Oh, go ask officer so and so and go ask security guard." Well, not security guard, but like they don't say security guard, but go
Yeah.
ask Mr. so and so. Like, and they're just standing there. Like, you're not allowed to leave without permission. You're not allowed to, like, I would rather go eat my lunch in a stairwell.
Well, I don't like that for you, but I understand
Like,
what you're saying.
we get a break, a lunch, but we can't go anywhere. Like, we can't, like, I can't just go on a little walk to, like, clear my head. I have to be sitting there, or I have to go to the bathroom, or, like, I can't just, like, have my actual break, my 30 minutes out of the 7 hours that I'm there.
Do you think that if every student was given a little more independence in school,
Yes.
that they would abuse it, though?
No.
No?
I think if they were taught correctly, and maybe I really think that if we had our phones a little more, that it would help. People can argue differently,
I'll
but
argue
also
differently.
our phones are kind of a sense of security for us. And like, I was just sitting in my study hall today, and I had already gotten all my work done, and I had nothing to do. I was literally sitting there staring at a screen. And like, I can't, like, I have nothing to do. That's a time where I could just be kind of chilling and just like scrolling on my phone for a couple minutes and just like taking a little break to breathe. And like, that's kind of like, I'm just sitting there bored. And also, like, I don't, I think we need a little more independence and a little more freedom. And I also think that you children are expected to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, anytime, and function at 7:30 in the morning. Not even 7:30. At 7:30 in the morning and learn.
I have
When
I haven't tracked this yet. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Connecticut was discussing a bill to change school times
yeah,
based off of a lot of research. There's a lot of research that shows that everything should be flipped around, right? The younger kids go in later, they should be going in earlier. They are typically going to bed earlier, they're waking up
mhm.
earlier, whereas
Like little kids are
older
perky and they're up
and
like
older
by themselves.
older kids also have a lot more going on in their evenings,
Mhm.
right? So the demands of sports, extracurricular activities, all of those things pile up to the point where sometimes you can't get to bed until 10 o'clock at night if
Mhm.
you
And then
do
you're
other
expected to
things.
wake up
And
at
you need to be
5, six
awake at
o'clock in the
5 or
morning.
6. Yeah, and it's not
And
enough.
my school, the doors open at 7. The first bell rings at 7:17. Then it's 7:28, 7:32. But if you arrive at the school at like 7:29 or like 7:32, you're late. They give you, like, even if you're before the last bell at like 7:29, they give you a late slip and they mark you late.
Interesting.
Because people wonder why I get there so early at 7 o'clock. It's because if I didn't get there at that time, I would be late.
Do you like to get there early to be able to like set your mind also?
No,
Like
I
does
like to get
that
there early because I'm the type of person that is an early person and I need to be there early.
do you really like being early?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a
And
good
like,
quality.
I'm sorry to the people at my school But you office ladies are not nice.
Oh man, you're throwing so much shade. I will talk about this. Do you
Okay,
want me to talk about
yes, you
this?
do not make it a good environment. Because if somebody is walking in the door late, you don't know what happened before those couple minutes that they walked in there. You don't know. They could have been screaming at their parents, or their parents could have been screaming at them, or they could have panicked because they woke up late, or they could have had something that prevented them from getting there. Maybe they missed their bus and they had no way of getting there.
Yep.
Like, you don't know what happened, and you, like, being like, sign in on the paper, like, that's not making an environment that feels safe. That's not making an environment where you feel like people care that you're there. It's just like saying, like, I don't care that you're here. Like, you should be on time every single day. Like, you can never be late.
Do you want me to talk about the
Yeah.
experience that I had
Mm-hmm.
last Monday? When I picked Jacquelyn up for occupational therapy, we haven't talked about your ARFID stuff in a while. We will soon, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it. I picked her up about 10 to 15 minutes before the final bell rings. It happens every Monday. We have a standing appointment every Monday. And I went in there, I signed her out, did my normal
Use a fake
routine.
name.
I did not use a fake name.
No, like, no.
What?
You didn't use a fake name, but, like, pick a fake name for the story so it's not just, like, so-and-so.
Oh, yeah, I won't
When
use
I do
names.
stories, like, for, like, people, I'll say, like, a fake name
You
because
want to, I'll keep
I
it
still want, like,
anonymous
a
here.
name.
Okay, so there was a boy, Billy. We'll call him Billy. Okay, I like that. There was a boy who walked by or walked into the office, but we're going to call him Billy. And one of the front office ladies started to confront him about why he needed to take the late bus.
Which is a bus that comes at 3:30 for anyone who does, like, clubs or is just, like, staying a little later after school to do stuff.
Yep. So Billy said that he wanted to stay to do his homework. And this lady started to kind of berate Billy a little bit. She was raising her voice a little bit in front of everyone and asked him where he was going to do that. He said that he was just going to hang out in the cafeteria and do that until the late bus came. She told him he couldn't do that, not in a nice way at all, in my opinion. She was very condescending to him. To his credit, he was very poised. Mm-hmm. He stayed very professional to her. He was a very polite young boy, and he asked her if there was any place else that he could do it. She again was like, "You can't just stay after school to do your homework. Why are you doing this?" It was just really. There's other people in the office also, and I don't think that that's how you should be talking to anyone, whether it's a
Especially
12 or 13-year-old kid or a 70-year-old person.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't think that you should be talking to people that way, in front of other people especially. So he said this is a strategy that his therapist and he had come up with because he has a hard time focusing on his homework at home. I think you can kind of relate to that also. Yeah. Sometimes it is really hard when you have the distractions of home to be able
dog.
Right, to do your homework. And you have other things too, like there's stuff around you, there's things going on. I don't know his home situation. I don't need to know his home situation. What struck me though was just how she was talking to him and how he stayed very nice. And then she told him that there was a homework club that he needed to join. That's on Mondays and Tuesdays, and they meet in the library, and that's the only way he could stay after. And finally, I'm getting there. Hold on.
Being able to do your homework.
I understand. Finally, he was just defeated. He was shot down. He thought that he had a plan, and he just told her, "I'll just take the regular bus home." And it made me so sad for him in that moment. I wasn't angry, right? But I was just like, I could feel his defeat and how invalidated he felt and
because
how
he was just trying to
do the right thing, and he didn't have someone on his side.
Like, at least he was taking the effort to do his homework.
Yes.
Like,
and I don't know Billy. I don't know if Billy has a history. I don't know if Billy's a good kid. I don't know anything about him, but I didn't need to know anything about him
Like, it still
to
doesn't.
know that that is not a psychologically safe thing to do, right? Like, he's not ever going to feel comfortable going to those people who he should be able to be comfortable around and ask them for something.
Because even if you have, like, even if there's a kid that's, like, has a bad history, that doesn't mean that you can show up and just be mean to them. Like, you still have to give them a chance. And you still have to treat them like an actual human.
Yeah, I very much agree with you. I
Because
decided,
it's everyone's first time living too.
hey, nice.
Be a nice
Yeah,
human, guys.
that's right. Um, so I decided to send an email to your principals of your school. Uh, I don't. It's probably not. I won't be negative about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The response that I received was adequate. I think I drafted a very thoughtful email, and the school is so quick to. There's a parent series. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
know this, but they do a parent series with a licensed social worker, a therapist, that they talk about all of these things: emotional intelligence, connecting with your children. They reference the Anxious Generation book, like dealing with technology, how to work through distractions, all of these things that they are putting on the parents, but yet that's acceptable to talk to a child that way in the school.
Yeah.
And you all have, yes, you're kids, right? But you all have the same pressures on you. You have the
They
pressures
all have
of a
8 classes
pretty
a day.
rigorous academic
Mm-hmm.
program. Like, it's a tough school. You have a tough curriculum that you have to go through. And just like we talked about before, you're still trying to figure out everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
How to be a nice human,
Yeah.
who your people are, all of that
How
Billy
to
doesn't
just
need the stress of
how to
that
just
affecting him
be
also.
a student in that school, and how to just be a robot and constantly be fed information and have to, like, actually put that on a paper or do something with it.
Yeah.
Like, having to train yourself to be a machine and, like, not kind of be human in a sense and, like, make mistakes, like, and to just kind of, like, train yourself that you can't make mistakes and you have to do everything right. And if you get a lower grade than a C, then you're just this horrible person. And that, like, or if you even get a lower grade than a B, then you're just like, you're not working hard enough. Or even if you put a bunch of effort to something and you get a grade below a B, you're not working hard enough. Like, you're not putting enough effort into it. You're not putting any effort into it at all. When you don't see the hours and, like, everything that goes on in our brains, when we're just in a place where there's a constant pressure.
Do you feel that pressure from what you just said about, it not being good enough, or, maybe you have a bad test
I
day or
feel that
something
all the
like that?
time at that
Do you,
building.
but do you feel that from your teachers? Like, do you feel that disappointment? Is that a narrative that you're writing yourself, or is
No,
that something that they're actually telling you?
something that they're actually telling me.
They're telling you that you're not doing this good enough.
Yes, they'll tell us that they're disappointed at us, and they'll tell us that we're not working hard enough or that we're not, like, paying attention to her when we're looking straight at you. Like, sometimes you just don't understand something.
Is this
And people just need to understand that.
is this limited to, like, a specific teacher, or is
No,
this universal?
this is universal.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we're not robots. You can't feed us information and expect us to remember it all. You can't give us loads of homework and expect us to remember to do it every night. You can't get mad at us when we don't charge our Chromebooks because we're not robots. We don't remember to do that every night. We're not, like, if you're giving us something, like, we didn't ask for Chromebooks. We didn't ask to be given this. We didn't ask to possibly have to pay insurance. Like, we didn't ask for that. We didn't want that. We wanted to come to school to learn. We didn't want to come to school to have to charge a Chromebook every night and have to do a bunch of homework. When you're in kindergarten and you're so excited to go to school, it's just because you want to learn. You're not thinking, oh, I'm so excited to have a Chromebook. No, you're thinking that you want to go to school to learn, not to have a constant pressure on your back.
Okay. Do you think that having those expectations maybe set some like or instills some responsibility in you though?
Yes, but no, because you're like, it just puts stress on us. It's not giving us any responsibility. It's just giving us stress, and it's making us feel horrible when we forget to charge a Chromebook or we forget to do our homework. Because we're not, like, perfect, and we're human. Like, of course we're gonna make mistakes, but you also have to, like, give in and say it's okay to make mistakes, and that it's not gonna, like, it's okay. Like, you can't just, like, expect a kid to do everything perfect.
I think that's a
Especially
fair thing to
teenagers.
say.
Like,
Sure.
we're not perfect. And especially, we get 4 minutes in between every class.
Mm-hmm.
4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get from this end of the school to this end of the school
Yep.
in 4 minutes.
Yep.
It doesn't work like that. And people get so mad when people are late to classes. They can't physically get there in 4 minutes. Like, I'm having to speed walk. I'm having to use all of my power that I'm exhausted when I get to that class because I'm just trying to get there.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. It's just the way you said it.
And that's why I can be so sore the next day is because I'm constantly having to run but not run to my class. Like, I think if we had maybe like 6 minutes or like even 5,
Yeah.
like that allows us to get there and also like use the bathroom before class so that we're not berated when we ask to a bathroom. And I know that one of the teachers in my school now is not letting kids go to the bathroom.
Really?
When that's no. Like, I can't, like, this is like a natural thing that happens, and you're not letting me. This is not my teacher, but you're not letting me go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, even people in jail can go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I think they have to do it in front of other
Yeah,
people.
but still, like, you can't tell a kid they can't go to the bathroom. I think that's actually illegal.
We're not looking this up right now. We're not doing that.
I feel like I saw that somewhere.
Okay. I have 2 questions, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Okay.
Or if you have more stuff to say, that's fine too. You can elaborate. 2 questions. What do you think makes a good teacher?
Someone who is not treating us like we're robots and who accepts us for the people that we are and the people that we want to be and just doesn't expect us to be perfect in every way. It doesn't expect us to just like know everything. And like doesn't expect us to be perfect.
Okay. So these are more traits like of caring for someone almost emotionally, I think, right? Is what I'm hearing from you.
And just someone who cares about like we have issues of our own, and when you're making someone feel bad for having that issue, like it's not good. Like, I don't want to call anyone out, but I've had people that are like, you can, like, it's okay to leave like 5 minutes early or 10 minutes early, but once we get to like 15 or 20 minutes, you're missing half the class. When it's not my fault. I didn't choose to have an eating disorder. I didn't ask to be afraid of these foods. Like, that's not my fault.
Mm.
I couldn't have done anything to control that. And when I'm feeling like bad for having something wrong with me, like I shouldn't be like, I shouldn't feel even more bad that I'm missing a bunch of class for something I can't control.
Yeah.
Like, that's not
Is that
fair.
you feel like that's instilling a little bit of guilt in you?
Yes,
For...
like I feel guilty for like trying to help something that's wrong with me.
Okay.
And when I'm just like, when I am told that that's not okay and that I shouldn't be getting picked up early, then would you like to be put in my shoes? And would you like to feel a constant anxiety when you're near foods that scare you? I didn't think so. Like, I didn't, like, I wouldn't put this on anyone else. And I just think that people need to be like more caring about it and think like, oh, maybe this person is really struggling with this and I need to like take a second and like accept that and say like, I'll help you like catch up on work and not just be like, this is unacceptable. Because that's not fair.
It seems like what you're saying is that there's a bit of lack of empathy and
Yes.
emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Okay. So you think that empathy and emotional intelligence makes you a better teacher?
Yes.
Okay. Before you said that they don't really teach.
They don't
So
teach.
what would make you want to learn more? How would you be more
Teach
inspired to learn?
an engaging lesson.
Okay.
Like
How
I
would you
had,
do that?
there
How
was
would you
this,
do that?
the teacher that we ran into at Big Y, she would teach engaging lessons, and it was more of like a lecture. We were still learning,
What did she teach?
but social studies and
Okay.
like writing and science and all that. But we would have like really engaging like lectures kind of, and it was so fun. Like I really enjoyed it because I actually learned things. I
Okay.
wasn't just taking down notes and writing down formulas. I was actually like learning things and like I won't say I was enjoying it, but I wasn't hating every second of it. And I was actually learning things and remembering things.
That's that's a fantastic answer. That's a really great answer. And I can appreciate that for sure.
And like putting people in groups is not engaging. Putting people in groups is just putting more pressure on it because you have to like talk to people. And the other day, my teacher was like, so we're going to do this like practice testing for 30 minutes by yourselves, and then I'm going to put you in groups. And she was like, is there anyone who wants to work alone? And a bunch of people raised their hands because we don't like to work in groups. We like to work in groups when we're sometimes like choosing our groups, but also I hate that because you're looking around the classroom trying to find someone to be with, and all of these people have already picked their partners and picked their groups, and you're standing there. And also, like, you, I think that working alone, you get more stuff done.
Okay. I said I was going to only ask two questions, but I really want to keep going with what you said. We're going really long, but I don't care right now because this is a good conversation, I think. Group dynamics, I want to talk about group dynamics.
You can't just expect a couple people to bond together.
And that's okay. You're still going to have to work with people, and
Yeah.
that's fine. I understand this portion of it. I don't think that it's the worst thing to have to work in groups. I do understand that you don't always want to do this. If you want to do your work, you just want to do your work and get it done yourself. I'm with you there.
You want to get that
But
time to take a breather.
I want to talk about group dynamics, and I want to talk about how you handle that. You said something before, which I think alludes to something bigger that I don't really want to get too far into. About like, looking around and seeing that other people have picked people. I think there's a lot to dive into with that, but we're not going to get into that. I want to talk about being in your group. Do you view yourself as a leader typically in a group, or do you take a backseat role?
I'll be a leader if I have to be a leader.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to seem like I'm running the whole thing, but also, usually I get put in groups with people who don't know what's happening, and I'm just expected to do all the work. And I end up doing a bunch of the work. Like, especially in, like, group, like, slideshows, I do all the work. Because nobody steps up and actually is like, so what do you want me to do? Unless I'm telling them, like, can you do this slide? Can I do this slide? Like, I always just end up doing all the work. And that's just what works out better.
Okay. I would challenge you.
And especially, sorry,
It's okay.
with like group grading. Because I'm getting graded on how well other people did and not just me.
Yep.
When I can't control their actions.
Yep. I would like to challenge you then in your group dynamics to find a way to not do all the work. Okay. To motivate other people. It shouldn't be your job. I'm not saying that it should be your job to do that, but to try to find ways, and I don't want to say manipulate either, but to inspire other
To
people.
tell people that they need to, like, not tell them, but
no,
like, to
but
explain to them that there are things that need to be done.
There are different ways to maybe gracefully get people involved, right? To use different words. So to look at the full body of what you have to do and say, hey, Billy, because we're talking about Billy, what is your favorite thing that you see in here? Okay. And then maybe you can get Billy talking about something. And hey, Cassandra, over here, there's this thing. Like, do you think that you could like work on that part of it without seeming like you're running the entire show, right? Or you could just tell someone like, yeah, I really like this part and I would like to do this. You've taken ownership for something. And if you can get other people to buy into their own projects, you don't have to take on the whole workload. Yeah. You shouldn't be taking on the whole workload. Mm-hmm. You don't need to do that. Yeah. All right. That makes group dynamics really, really difficult when you just take on the entire thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it feels easier in the moment because you know that this needs to get done. You know that your grade depends on this. Mm-hmm. You know that you care about that. But if you can find a way to lead, but lead in a very inspirational way, maybe, it makes it seem like you're not a bossy pants and you're there for the team and you're there for the success of everything, right? So I would challenge you next time to find creative ways to get people motivated to do something, even if you're not motivated about it yourself. Okay? You accept my challenge. Yes. I would like to hear a report back on this. Thank you. I don't know what that handshake was, but whatever. All right. No, I have one last question. It's my last question. You talked about before how you wanted to change things at school and you would want to change stuff. If you had to make a protest poster, you were just protesting. Our dog is barking and this is so annoying right now because I'm on something. Okay, I'm starting over. If you were to make a protest poster, I know. What would you put on your protest poster?
That we should be allowed to have our phones in school.
Do you have a slogan that you could come up with?
Not really a slogan, but I think that our phones kind of provide us with some sort of like security because I feel a lot safer when I have my phone. And like I can call someone and if I needed to. That's especially why I love my Apple Watch is because that's very much the way I feel safe in school. And especially with testing, when we have to lock our Apple Watches away, like you're putting me in a stance, not a stance, of anxiety for the day. And it's just like not healthy. And I really think that I feel a lot safer when I have access to texting someone or I have access to calling someone because that just makes me feel safe.
There's data that is contrary to what you're saying. Okay, that dispels what you're saying. That shows that is not necessarily true. I'm not saying about the way you're feeling or the anxiety behind that, but the ability to learn can be potentially impaired because even with your phone in your pocket, just knowing that that's there, that a desire to grab it or you feel that buzz happen, it's an immediate distraction and it takes away. There is some data to dispel that. I would love to have someone on here that like does like child therapy or like research or something that we could talk about this with. I think that would be really cool actually because I'm interested in hearing like different perspectives of this.
Might just have to find someone to put on the pod.
I do really value what you just said, and I don't discount it. I know that that's how you feel. We went super long. I loved every second of it. You displayed
so many times.
So much passion. That's all right. I coughed a few times too. Let's wrap it up, buddy. Be a nice human, everybody.
Be a nice human.
See y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.